So as it is 6:30, we are going to call the meeting to order. Before I do that, I'd like to remind those who are in attendance here and online that our meetings are being recorded and are placed for public viewing on a publicly available website. Also acknowledge that we here in Zeballos have the privilege and honor to work, live, and play on the unceded First Nations land of the Hadasets and Chinnikit territory. So if I could get someone to approve the agenda.
Approves the agenda.
Yeah.
I'll count that as a Councillor Deck moved and Councillor Lewis second, if that's okay.
Yes.
Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
That's not opposed, so that's carried. Business arising from the minutes. Of course, on our docket tonight is the Zeballos official community pen bylaw number 555/2024, and this is the public hearing for such. Have you, CEO Nelson, have you handed out public hearing guidelines to any of the gallery?
Just what's in the package, so what I.
Perfect. So you've all seen the document on page 101. I'm going to call the public hearing to order and we'll go through what some of this means in some opening remarks. So I will call the public hearing to order. It is to hear, the purpose of this is to hear from the public regarding the OCP, the official community plan. So this is an opportunity for you to share, the public to share the views, comments, and concerns about the proposed OCP. The hearing proceeds as such. So I'll outline the process. We'll hear from the staff first, and then anyone in the gallery who wishes to speak or online. This hearing is just to provide comments directly to council. So council's role in this is just to listen to the input that you provide. We won't debate or discuss anything. I will remind people that you have 5 minutes, and then when it's your turn to raise your hand, the chair, will address you. You can state your full name and address, making sure that all comments are focused on the OCP, on the official community plan and those related issues. So inappropriate language, all of those other things, just to be respectful commentators, if you could please. If time allows and everyone who wishes to speak has had an opportunity, then we could hear from others who maybe didn't finish their comments or would like to speak further. So I would ask that when the staff after the staff has finished giving their presentation, that you raise your hand. I will keep a running record of who a speakers list and who can speak next. I'll call on you and you'll have 5 minutes. And I think that is all. Yeah, there won't be any debating or discussing the merits of the OCP. This is just your opportunity to comment, contribute more than we have during the public engagement portion. So first of all, I do have to remind you that information submitted during this public hearing process will be part of a public record. So first of all, in our Zoom land over there, I'd like to introduce Kevin Brooks. He is from Maquinna Limited, and he is a consultant. We'll give you an overview of the proposed official community plan. So, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just going to attempt to share my screen here. Can everybody see that?
We can, and thank you so much for bearing.
Very good. So I have a brief presentation this evening. The presentation itself goes over the process that we've gone through, some of the key aspects of the Official Community Plan, fundamentally what it's for. Touch a little bit on the engagement that we've done as part of the process. And then I'll go over generally what's a really high level, what's in the final OCP. And then if council has any questions of me after that. So again, the Official Community Plan itself is a document that's intended to provide objectives and policies and specifically land use designations for the community to help council make decisions as those decisions come forward in the future. We're required to have some key aspects to provide some general statements of objectives and that to help with those guide those decisions on planning and land use. But the Local Government Act dictates exactly what we must have in the Official Community Plan. And there's a list. I'm not going to go through it. We've discussed this over the past year of those things that we must have in the OCP. All of these items have been addressed. But there's also things that you may have in your OCP, and such as social needs, development permits, things of that nature, preservation and protection of the natural environment, which the OCP that we have developed for the village do have in it. The approach that we've taken over the last year is really to talk about the existing Official Community Plan, the Official Community Plan or the official policy type framework that the community has had, and to just confirm the relevance of that and look at revising as needed. Our goal here wasn't to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It was to actually look at the community, look at how the community has utilized the policy framework that was in place, and to take the stuff that was still very relevant and update the stuff that needed to be updated based on legislative changes, and also based on changing the changes of the community. This was presented back to council and the community, of course. We've updated the mapping and the final OCP that's before council and the community today. One of the key aspects of this was really coming out and talking to the public. And so we did that in two primary ways. One was a community survey where we provided the opportunity for the community to provide comment. We integrated key aspects of housing and key aspects of, like I said, that policy relevance as part of that survey. And then we ran a open house forum where the community was able to come out, talk to us, ask questions, and provide comments about the relevance of the proposed policy framework that was brought forward. All of this information was taken into consideration and was used to do a final revision of the Official Community Plan, which is again before you today. When we look at that new OCP, we've updated the maps, of course, but the key sections in that new OCP is the Indigenous History and Reconciliation section, Natural Environment section, hazardous areas, housing, infrastructure, economic development, parks and rec, and of course, the land use aspects of the OCP. And with that, that's my brief overview. I'm here to answer any questions that council may have.
Anything from council to our consultant?
No, thank you. It's all clear.
Perfect. So thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Letting us know what was new and what kind of wasn't included previously in the previous iteration, what we've done this time. And thank you also for all your work on the engagement process. I think that was a really good process and allowed multiple ways for people to comment, as well as this opportunity for the public hearing. So thank you. CEO Nelson Smith, do you have any written submissions that you wanted to read out loud for the public record?
Thank you, Mayor Colborne. Yes, I do have one from the Protective Services Department of Strathcona Regional District regarding section 4.2.3 of the OCP. We already have an early warning system for distant tsunamis. Regarding local tsunamis, the strong shaking of an earthquake is a warning. A tsunami is coming. And Canada launched an earthquake early warning system in the spring. And there is a link below. So the comment is there something about 4.2.3 that I'm missing? And so that was from Sean Cooper, the manager of emergency services for Strathcona Regional District, and that was the only written submission I received.
Perfect, thank you for that. So next is to open it up for public comment. Excuse me. If you wish to provide a comment or a concern, please raise your hand. And then once I address you, then you can state your name and your address clearly before any comments that you may have. I just wanted to give a minute for anyone in case they rethought that. So that was the first time calling for speakers. So I'll call a second time. If there are, anybody would like an opportunity to speak. And having called a second time, and now I need to call a third time. And this will be the third and final opportunity for anybody to comment on what's inside the OCP. Okay. Thank you for being here this evening to watch the process. It's an interesting one. First one we've been through in quite some time. So the feedback that was given, the one written submission, will be taken into consideration as we move forward in the decision-making process. It's important that we do this as an overarching guide for planning purposes in the village, and I appreciate everyone's participation for coming here tonight, even though no one spoke. But I'm sure that some of you have filled out either a survey on the matter or have come to one of the public engagement days that we had at the community hall. So that is appreciated as well. So that concludes our public hearing. Council doesn't make a decision on the OCP tonight. A decision will be made at a future council meeting. Of course, that will be publicly announced. You can always look for items on our agendas as they come out. And this hearing is now adjourned. Yeah, that's for some of these that. Okay, thank you all. This one's quick and painless.
Yes.
Not that I thought it wouldn't be, but. And that public hearing is in record time. We did that in 13 minutes. Yeah, that's how we do it in Zeballos.
Yeah. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Yeah, we will talk to you soon.
Thanks all. Have a great evening.
Thanks, Kevin.
I could get someone to call for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
First, moved by Councillor Lewis, seconded by Councillor Deck. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is carried. So what's that? Yeah, 6:43.